Hello, we're back. Jack, did you find your pad?
No, but I've got a bank statement that I'm going to write on the back of, so we're good.
Oh, good. We gave Jack 30 seconds to find the notepad in the countdown, and I was watching him in our little thumbnail of just him rapidly trying to find something. But no, anyway, we're back. It's been a couple of weeks since the end of the season, but it's a very late end of season special from us. But I think it's episode 45. I think is it maybe. I wasn't here for the last one or two. Maybe I think you guys steered that ship beautifully. But we're back for an end of season special. I'm joined by Chris, Jack, and Ash. Chris, how are you today on this? It's been a beautiful Sunday. I've just looked outside. It's a bit cloudy, but it's okay. How are you?
It has. Unfortunately, I'm bunged up with hay fever, so I apologise. I sound nasally and that, but yeah, it has been nice outside and that.
But you got get some antihistamines up you, Chris.
I have literally antihistamines, Beckinase up the nose, hay fever wipes, the whole shebang, pretty much. But
get it up you, and also get a banana up you as well. Yeah. Make sure you do that.
I did actually.
Good. Get some slow release energy.
Come on.
Yeah, good. Jack, how are you? How was football? We were meant to be live at around 7ish, and you said 7ish. Technically, it is still 7ish. But how was football?
Tiring. I think I got a bit burnt as well. It's like the colour of my shirt compared to my face. It's like I'm usually like the palest guy, but now I've got a bit of pink.
Is that a Mexico shirt?
Yeah, I love the shirt, Jack.
It's a great shirt, by the way.
Yeah, tremendous. And Barnes got a Spanish shirt on, I see as well.
And Barnes got a Spanish shirt.
Well, it looks like it, yeah.
Up the Spain.
Fantastic. And what a segue to Ash. Hello, Ash.
Last
move. How are you? Very good. How are you today? You didn't watch the F1. We've already discussed that. But how are things with you this fine Sunday?
All good, mate. Nice to see you back on the pod after your what feels like many months of Wi-Fi issues and broken cables. You're back.
I'm back. Nice I don't know if I'm better than ever. I feel like, when a manager is sacked and then is brought in from the cold.
Oh no!
Yes,
oh, no.
That is perfect. He's done that on purpose.
Surely, just pulled the cable out as soon as he got to it.
What unbelievable timing that was! What unbelievable timing that was!
That was great. That was so good. Pulled the cable out just at that time.
Yeah, just
absolute rehearsal.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll see how that goes. I'm literally I've connected my laptop to an Ethernet cable, so I'm literally wired in, and stuff's still going down. So I don't know. But anyway, this is the end of season special. What we've got planned is a few awards that we'll give out, sort of like the BAFTAs, but the BAFTAs I've just thought of on the spot, which is good. And then we'll do a bit of a quiz. I have a quiz, 10 questions, very standard. But hopefully we get to that point. Do you want to do the quiz first or do the awards first? It's democracy.
Get the awards out of the way.
Get the awards out of the way? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So end of season awards, getting back into the swing of it. The first award is Player of the Season. We're obviously doing Premier League. I should obviously just mention, because that's what we've been doing for most of the year. It'd be very rogue if we started doing MLS Player of the Season or something like that. Which would be, Chris, it would be Jose Altidore, probably.
Maybe Carlos Vela.
Yeah, probably, of course. I don't even know who plays in the MLS anymore. But anyway, yeah, there you go, Freddie. I'm sure he's playing for a number of clubs. But Player of the Season. Let's open this debate, and then we'll try and decide on one. So, Chris, let's start with you. Who do you think's been the best player of the season in the Premier League this season? Player of the season.
It's quite a tricky one, to be fair, because that's like a handful that I've been sort of like thinking about, like, who could be player of the season. But I think you got to give it to Kevin De Bruyne. Just the exceptional season he's had for Manchester City in terms of not only the assists, but obviously the goals he contributes with as well. Just an all-round brilliant player, to be honest, De Bruyne. And I think he only get better next season with the fact that they're bringing in Erling Haaland for his crosses and that. So for me, I'm going to put forward Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne. Jack, who do you pick? And whilst you talk, I'm going to go shut my door. So you talk and say many things. I'll be back.
Like Chris, it's sort of like one of those sort of difficult ones, because you got like the sort of the top teams, haven't you? Like always they're sort of in and around. There's always a better player, but I'm sort of going to throw Bowen in there. I know West Ham have had like a really good season, but I think out of like their team, I think he's been like the standout, and it's sort of like, and he's got called up for England, which is quite a big sort of thing to get, which is showing how good he's been. So I'm going for Bowen. Oh dear, this thing has gone.
I'm here. Joe Bowen's good call. I got Bowen. I'm literally not even touching anything, right? And my Ethernet cable disconnects. It cost me £15 on Amazon, so I'm not really sure should I be paying more for that. I'm not an IT expert. Should I be paying more for an Ethernet cable?
That's a lot for an Ethernet cable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Especially when that falls out.
Exactly. It's an Ethernet adapter, I should say. I've got the cable and there's an adapter. But Jared Bowen was a good shout. Ash, who's your choice and why is it Timu Pukki?
I could a very I wish I could sit here and say that Timu Pukki was my player of the season. That would be great. I'm actually going to nominate 2 players because to be honest,
go on.
To be honest, there wasn't really a standout player this season that I don't think is one where you can just be like, obviously, it's him. I think did De Bruyne maybe win it last season? He was clearly the best player, whereas I think this season's a bit closer. So I'm going to name one Manchester City player and one Liverpool player. So I'm going to go for João Cancelo for Manchester City. Just a very consistent player, has to play in different positions, gets goals and assists, and is pretty defensively solid, I would say, compared to some of the other attacking fullbacks in the league. So I think he's had a great season, and he's one of the top players in that Man City team. So him, and then secondly, I'm going to throw out a goalkeeper, Alisson Becker for Liverpool. I think he's been terrific this season, and it just seems so many times where Liverpool could have dropped points. It was actually, we talk about maybe Van Dijk, or we talk about players like Salah and Mane, but I don't think Alisson maybe gets the credit he deserves because he saves Liverpool in quite a lot of games, I think. So yeah, I'm going to nominate those 2 for my player of the season.
So who do we decide between De Bruyne, Bowen, Alisson, and whoever you pick, João Cancelo?
I also can't believe none of us said Salah or Son. That's mental.
Yeah, that's oh god.
Yeah.
But Son came up very towards the end, didn't he? Though, across the season.
Since January, he's been pretty good, hasn't he? To be fair,
Yeah.
I mean, he's been good all season, but he's particularly been good since after Christmas, really. The last few months, maybe.
Yeah, true. What do you think, Tom?
For me personally, I would go João Cancelo. I think he's been really good this year. I was never really convinced with him, and then this season I thought he played really well. He's been playing on the left, hasn't he, as well? And he's normally right foot, which I think is sort of gives him marks in his favour. I don't know because
that's left back union. That is. Left back, that is.
Oh, so I'm biased. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I don't know. We're gonna have to come to an agreement on player of the season.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw another player in there as well. Another Man City player, but I thought Rodri had a fantastic season as well for Man City.
Yes, that's a good shout.
I mean, he was one where, well, to be fair, it's one of them where City for a few seasons now have been looking for a replacement for Fernandinho, and I know Rodri started to come in towards last season. And now he started to come in, but this season he really cemented his place down, and you probably would say he's one of the key players and probably first person on Guardiola's team sheet for Manchester City. So maybe that's another name to throw in. But
yeah, I like that, Chris, because he scored some absolute belters as well this season. He scored 7 goals. Just looking at it here. For a defensive midfielder, that is very, very good, and 2 assists. So I'm more than happy to back Rodri.
I mean, you're wearing the Spain shirt as well, Barnes. So you obviously got to back your man. You got to back your man.
I'm happy for Rodri. I think that's a very good shout.
Jack, do you agree with Rodri? Or are you going to disagree massively here?
No, I do think he's a good option, but I still, if I had to pick between Cancelo and Rodri, I'd go with Cancelo. Still,
so would I.
Just because he is one of those, I don't know, there's something about Cancelo. He's one of those players you could almost play him anywhere, and he would be really good. You could play him wing, obviously left back, right back. You could probably even play him centre mid, and he would still be really, really good because he's equally good with both feet. Obviously, creatively very good. Whereas Rodri, I think, I know his position is defensive midfield. I mean, maybe you could probably get away with being a centre back, but sort of outside of that, I think maybe pushing it. That was what I think swings it for me, but it's a tough one because they are both very good.
I mean, I'm happy to go with Cancelo because obviously Barnes did mention Cancelo first and that. So
Yeah.
if we all agree Cancelo, I mean, obviously you're going to agree Tang because left back union, like I said before, and that. So
let's give it him. He played more games than I think he played 36 games apparently, and that's slightly more than Rodri played. So let's give it him.
We'll go for Cancelo then. Okay, João Cancelo, congratulations for winning the Early Bath Player of the Season. Congrats. Okay, if you disagree with that, tell us in the comments or just shout at us in the street. Whichever you prefer. Okay, that was good. Manager of the season. And I don't know, we could just do this one in like 30 seconds or something, just say Graham Potter. But Chris, who do you think is the manager of the season?
I think because we were supposed to do this last weekend, which I wouldn't have been involved with, and I think I said someone else, but I've actually thought about it a bit more, and I'm going to go with Eddie Howe, just for the fact that when he took over at Newcastle in October, Newcastle hadn't won a league game, and I think they only had like 5 points all season, and all right, you could argue he had money to spend in January because their new ownership and that, but he had to spend it on the right players. And all of a sudden, he took Newcastle within, I can't remember how many points it was in the end, but he got them from being rock bottom of the Premiership to maybe having an outside chance of getting into Europe and that. And they was actually playing some really good football towards the end of the season. And you look at what he's done with especially Joe Linton. Joe Linton was a laughing stock at Newcastle. Newcastle fans hated him. Now Newcastle fans are singing his name week in, week out. Now that he's sort of transitioned into more of a box-to-box midfielder rather than a striker. So, yeah, I'm gonna say Eddie Howe.
Where did they finish Newcastle in the end? Out of interest, did they finish top half or was it just under?
I think it was just under.
Was it 13th or 14th?
11th, I have a feeling.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel 11th, and on a shoestring budget as well. He's done a good job. I can't really say that. It's too easy. Jack, manager of the season. Who would you like to put forward?
I'm gonna have to be the boring bastard and just say Guardiola.
Why?
Come on.
What do you mean?
Why?
They did win the league.
Why?
I think just because of the pressure. I think because everybody towards the end of the season there was like a lot of question marks about whether Liverpool could do them, and sort of I think a lot of people thought, this is like the first time that Man City have actually been pushed. To actually usually they've won it by end of March, haven't they? But this year it was a little bit closer than they probably expected it to be.
Bit shaky, weren't they, at the end of the season?
And I think he sort of like just about steadied the ship enough to pull it through. And I think that a little bit of grit, because it's probably the first time for a long, long time that he's actually had any sort of competition. Do you know what I mean in terms of the title? Because I mean, it usually when he was in Germany, they used to win by miles, didn't they? By Munich most seasons, and then Man City have won. Well, usually when they win the title over here, it usually has been quite convincing, hasn't it? Apart from obviously the year Liverpool won it. But I think this is one of the first years that they've actually had to really like push it towards the end. And I think they've sort of proven that, over they are a very, very good league side, aren't they? I think that's the thing we sort of discussed before about Liverpool being sort of suiting cup football and Manchester City being like so suited to league football and the way they play.
Wasn't the 18-19 season close though between Man City and Liverpool? I mean, all right, Man City won it in the end, but I thought that season Liverpool pushed them quite close and took it to the final day as well. That season,
I can't remember. Seems like a lifetime ago. The 18-19 season.
It does, to be fair.
Everything before COVID doesn't seem like it was real. Do you know what I mean? It just that year seems to like drag on, so you just don't really even remember what it was like.
Okay, so you've gone for I was going to say Klopp, Guardiola. Barnes, who is your contender for manager of the season?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Chris and say Eddie Howe. Mostly for the same reasons. I know obviously they did spend money in January, but if you actually look at the signings, other than Bruno Guimaraes, and he didn't even play that many games in the end. There was no real like high profile signings that when they signed, like, oh, they're definitely staying up 100%. And the transformation from that club for being bottom of the league with no wins to nearly getting into the top half of the table. And not just that, I think it's more the performances as well. Like the difference in the team from Bruce Newcastle, as much as that makes me sad to say, to Howe Newcastle was incredible. And he made players that were playing poorly under Bruce far better when they were, under his tenure. Any other shout? I think Thomas Frank deserves a bit of a shout out for doing very well with Brentford this season. But I wouldn't say it's quite manager of the season worthy. But I thought at the start of the season they would have been in trouble, and they comfortably stayed up in the end and played good football to go along with that. So shout out to Thomas Frank as well.
I think the second season, for like teams like Brentford, it seems like the first season, it's sort of, you notice like there's like a sort of a little trend, isn't there, with like promoted teams doing well in the first season and absolutely like can't even win a game the second season. So I think like Brentford is like, it'd be interesting to see how they actually do next year, like whether, because you sort of see that teams sort of try to sort of figure them out, or they sort of get found out a little bit. So remember sort of Huddersfield, how good they were. For us, like a small budget, and then everyone was so surprised. And then the second season, they were getting trumpled on, weren't they? By everybody.
Second season syndrome was definitely a thing. Yeah. I think Wolves, maybe Swansea, I think had it.
Yeah. Leeds certainly this
season.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I think we're pretty agreeable on Eddie Howe. Well done, Edward Howe. Congrats, manager of the season in the BAFTAs. Very good. Underachiever of the season. We're taking the tone of this awards a bit down now. I think this is going to be pretty easy. Of the team or club or player or manager that has underachieved a lot this season. Let's go backwards. Ash, let's start with you. Who do you think this deserves in very loose terms? Who will be given this award from us?
Well, I know what you think I'm going to say, and I'm not going to say it because I know Jack and Chris will bring it up. I'm actually going to say Romelu Lukaku.
That's a good shout.
Chelsea. Mainly because when he went there at the start of the season, I was very confident that Chelsea would improve and potentially even win the league. And to see where they finished, absolutely. Do you remember that game? I think they were playing Liverpool right at the start of the season, and it was really, really close game, really tight, and it really looked like Chelsea were going to challenge. And the drop-off we've seen since then, to at one point we were even saying like they might not even get fourth place, like Tottenham and Arsenal might catch them. And Lukaku's just had an absolute shocker, considering how good he was last year at Inter Milan. I don't know if it's something to do with him being in England or whatever, but yeah, to spend £100 million on Lukaku and how many goals he scored doesn't feel like that many, or doesn't even. I can't even think of a memorable performance that he's had in the Premier League. So, yeah, definitely Romelu Lukaku for my underachiever of the season.
Arsenal,
or Kieran Tank's Wi-Fi.
Was it Arsenal that he had a good game at the start? Didn't he score at Arsenal?
That was a sort of re-debut at Chelsea, weren't it? Was the Arsenal game where he scored within like 10 minutes. Like it was a tapping, but obviously it was when Arsenal were absolutely awful. They had that absolute shocking start to the season where they lost their first 3 games of the season against Brentford, Chelsea, and Man City.
Scored 8 goals he scored this year.
Really?
Well, league goals. And obviously 2 in Champions League.
It feels like less. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It feels like he scored like twice all season.
Yeah.
And he'd just been on the bench the whole time.
Yeah, but like you said, Ban, so a guy with his like sort of standards, considering like he is Belgium's like record top goal scorer as well, like that's probably not enough for him. And not only that, there's controversy in the middle of the season, weren't there, where he had that interview with, was it Sky Sports Italia? And that well, some like Italian like journalist and that, and obviously he was sort of made some like silly comments that he shouldn't have made to like the press, and that, which probably also didn't help his cause either. So I think that's a good shout to fair. Ginge, what about you for underachiever of the season?
Like, I think we all know like there was one we discussed before, but I'll leave it to Chris. I'll put my own thing in there, just purely for my own sort of my statement that I made at the start of the season that the one to watch was going to be Leeds United, and they ended up staying up by like was it 1 point?
Yeah.
Was it 1 point? I will say Leeds just because of my prediction of them being a one to watch and them literally scraping through, staying up. And I think, I don't know, Leeds are a funny one. So I've sort of discussed it at the start of the year. Like on their day, I think they can beat anybody, but they just didn't have many of those days this year. So really did not. And I don't know if it was injuries or just, I don't know, like maybe this sort of second season syndrome thing about, teams sort of guessing, sort of understanding how Bielsa wanted to play and sort of just playing to, to suit that style. I sort of maybe found them out a little bit because it's a sort of one-dimensional style, wasn't it? He just wanted to play the same way.
I was sad about that. I think that's a great shout, especially Bielsa being an underachiever, because I think he played such attractive football in that first season. They were so fun to watch. I remember we did a podcast where we were talking about we like ranking the managers or something like that, and I was saying that Bielsa was one of the top managers in the league. Which in some aspects I still think he is, but then when you look at the performance of Leeds, it's sort of hard to justify those comments. So yeah, definitely an underachiever for me.
Yeah, and like I think like it was like injuries as well, but I also think I don't know whether Bielsa was in charge of recruiting because I know he does like a smaller squad, but the recruitment of Leeds was absolutely terrible. I mean, I'll be honest, I think Junior Firpo is one of the worst players to play in the Premier League this season. He was absolutely awful.
I've seen Nuno Tavares though, Chris.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Junior Firpo Tavares look like Cafu. But and not only that, like I can't, like they sound like Dan James as well, which
that was a weird signing, wasn't it?
Yeah, weird signing. He didn't do great, but then I think he was playing out of position, like because of Bamford's injury. Like they just shoved Dan James up front, and I don't think Dan James isn't a striker because I don't think he's that good of a finisher personally. Don't get me wrong, he'll run the channel for you all day and that, and he has got the pace and that. But if you get him like into a box 1-on-1, I don't think he scores that many and that. But I think that was also a good shout. But I'm just going to say it, underachiever of the season, Manchester United.
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah,
we got it.
Someone had to say
got it,
it.
Everybody.
Someone had to say it. But it was interesting because obviously we was talking pre-pod about Barnes got the old, obviously behind the scenes, our Google document up about who our top 4 predictions and that. And I think literally everyone put Manchester United in their top 4. And let's be honest. Then again, you could argue Man United overachieved for the way they performed this season because, all right, they was awful, but they still managed to get a Europa League spot at the end of the season. But
at the end of the day, though, they bought Ronaldo, they bought Varane, they bought Sancho, they bought they got. Obviously, Ollie was riding a bit of a wave at the end of last season.
Yeah,
I thought United were back. I think a lot of people also did.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They finished second last season, and they had that 30-odd game away like unbeaten run, didn't they? So everyone thought, and they started the season quite well. To be fair, like they was winning games and they was up there. I think they was actually at the top of the table longer than Liverpool this season as well.
Oh, good.
And but then like you look at like some of the performances, like Watford away when they lost 4-1. I mean, more recently Brighton away where Brighton absolutely destroyed them 4-0.
Later this podcast, Chris.
It might do. To be fair, it might do. It might be a spoiler alert. And but yeah, like just the players that Manchester United had, and just I don't know. There's no style of football. It was just Ronaldo bail us out over and over again. And in fairness, you got to give Ronaldo credit. Like he had a fantastic season individually, like scoring. I think he got 18 goals in the end, didn't he? And that.
I think he got 18, a third top goal scorer, which considering, like you said, the way they played. And that's what I didn't get about Man United is the fact that they still said he was the reason why they were so bad because they had to change the style to suit him.
It's weird, isn't it? United are a paradox, aren't they?
Arguably, like the greatest player ever. I mean, I still think Messi is the best, but I mean, there's not many players that even come in the conversation to Messi. So to even be in the conversation shows how good he is. But they still blame him because they had to change their style. And I'm like, hang on, like and that's like the dream player for any team in the world, isn't it? Really, regardless of what style you play, he's like just the most naturally gifted goal scorer.
Something's
Yeah.
I blame him.
Yeah,
this season.
I
it's
blame
Ronaldo's fault. It's Ronaldo's fault that they're fucking dreadful.
I actually think, Jack, I'm gonna be one of those people. I think it partly is Ronaldo's fault. Not everything, and obviously there's way more going on in the club, and Manchester United have loads more problems. But I think Cristiano Ronaldo entering that dressing room, being the character he is, really must have changed the dynamics in that dressing room, because they were nowhere near this bad last year. And they've only got better players. So I don't understand how they've got so much worse with having a player like Cristiano Ronaldo in their team. I just think in today's modern day football, where pressing and stuff like that is key, and you're hanging all your hopes on a 36-year-old striker, and you've got players, means you can't really fit all of your other players in the team, like Bruno, Sancho, Rashford, for example. I think it really puts noses out of joint, and the amount of money he's on as well. It must be tough for the rest of the squad to sort of, or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm making excuses for them, but it must sort of upset the dressing room, and it just feels like if they hadn't signed Cristiano Ronaldo, then maybe we would have seen more from some of the other players in the squad. But I guess that is a bit of a controversial opinion. But he did do well on a goal scoring front, but I don't think that was ever really in doubt.
I just don't think the players that they had there is obviously. I think that before Ronaldo, pre-Ronaldo, they had this impression that Man United were sort of not back to their best, but they were overachieving what they had.
Yeah.
So the players were sort of, they could do no wrong in a way, because no one expected them to do anything. No one expected them to be better than Man City or Liverpool. They just had to be sort of in and around, and as long as Ollie was showing progression every season, they were happy. But as soon as they signed Ronaldo, and then straight away people thought, oh, they're going to win the league now. And I don't think any of the players have truly been in the position where they have to fight to be. They know they're the best team in that game and they have to win. They're so used to being the underdogs against the big teams like City. And I think as soon as they had that thing where, you had to, you come out and you looking over your shoulder and there's Ronaldo in the lineup and you go, oh, we got to win this game. We've got a better team than them. I don't think any of them had that mentality that, I don't know, you sort of look at when he went to Juventus and he sort of joined a squad that was really, really strong mentality, really key big players like Chiellini, players that have won multiple league titles. When you look at the Man United team that he's joined, there's nobody there that apart from Ronaldo that's really been in that position where they just had to grab the game and just win the game on their own, show about a bit of fight being the better team. Ronaldo's only serial winner really in that team. I mean, so you could argue Juan Mata, but he hasn't really played a huge amount of games. If you look around the others, you've got Maguire, used to be at Leicester, not really been in and around big, winning league title, for example. And you've got Wan-Bissaka still young, and then even Sancho. I mean, there's an argument he is a big player, but he's still relatively inexperienced. You can't put all your hopes on him. So it's a difficult argument, but I don't think any of them were ready for that level of expectation, apart from Ronaldo, who's been living in that world for 15 years, where he has to be the best player all the time. It's a difficult one.
I forgot the question that we asked. Underachiever this season. Yeah,
I mean, they are underachievers.
Ronaldo.
Yeah. Okay.
What do you think?
So, I would say United, just because of what, as a club. I mean, just what the feeling was in August in pre-season to what it is now. I feel there's no progression. I feel they've gone back. But at least there's not going to be a Paul Pogba contract situation this summer. Oh, wait.
What a great time to freeze again.
Yeah.
The dramatic pauses. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. I'm back. Oh, wait. There's not. At least there's not a Paul Pogba contract situation this summer, which is good. But no, I don't know. And then you said Lukaku, which is an interesting one. And then Jack, you said Leeds. I think I'm going to have to go United. It's going to be very mainstream, but I think I'm going to have to go United, I think it just, as a whole organism, Manchester United underachieved this season.
It's just it's such a toxic thing, isn't it?
It's
just what I hate is the entitlement that they should be the best team.
Yeah.
That just infuriates me. Just because they've won it before or they've been a big club before, that they should be it's so bonkers that football's ever changing. There is the sort of bigger clubs in the league, obviously, in every like major league, but there's no guarantee that you're going to be in and around it just because you're a club that's won it a lot of times before. That's what I really don't get it. And obviously that's a lot of the reason why people hated the Super League concept, isn't it? Because of just the status of a team rather than what they're actually playing like.
Yeah.
I know Chris made a big statement about Arsenal being involved in it when the supposedly big team when they were dreadful. You know, and you've got like teams like Leicester have been like amazing for like the last sort of, considering the size of the club for so long.
That was the whole thing.
Yeah, they just pulled Arsenal out of the hat because they've been good for the history of Arsenal rather than Leicester.
Okay.
Can I throw out a name before we 100% say Manchester United?
Yeah,
we have not considered Everton.
Timu Pukki.
No, you dare.
Everton had an absolutely horrific season. I think if they'd been relegated, we'd all be saying Everton.
I
think it probably is Manchester United. I agree with that, but I think Everton, and also maybe Steven Gerrard as well, because I thought there was a lot of hype around him, and he came in and basically didn't do anything of interest, in my opinion.
That's about the only thing I've got right this season where I said I had doubts about Gerrard. Every other prediction I've had has been dreadful, but that's not the only one. But Algeria to win the AFCON, that went down the drain. Leeds United.
Oh no.
Leeds United to have a good season. Good.
Okay. Everton have really thrown me. I don't know.
That is a shout, to be fair.
That is a good
Everton
shout.
bad, right? Should we just give them both of them?
Yeah.
We could do like a top three. Should we do like a top three? Third, second, first. Bronze medal for the Underachiever.
Okay, gold medal to Manchester United then, surely.
Yeah.
Silver to Everton, and then bronze to Lukaku or Leeds. I'll go Lukaku.
Yeah.
I think Lukaku. He's
well done all.
Well done all.
Well underachieved.
Well underachieved. In terms of overachiever, I'd like to put forward Patrick Vieira. I think he's done really well. I didn't think people expected him to do much at Crystal Palace, but I think they play a really attractive brand of football now. Even Brighton fans say that. So I think just put forward Patrick Vieira.
That's why Priest isn't on here, is he?
Exactly.
Palace awful, whatever it was at the start.
Exactly. Yeah. Those words shall be eaten. Jack, who do you think is the overachiever of this season? It could be a club, it could be a manager, it could be a player, it could be a mascot, something like that.
A mascot?
I don't know. A groundsman. I don't know.
Who's got the best grass? I don't know.
Leicester had good grass in their title winners.
Yeah, I noticed all the patterns they do. Very funky. I like the patterns.
Go on. Sorry.
I'd say maybe West Ham.
Yeah.
I mean, I am sort of thinking. I know it doesn't really count because we're sort of looking at the Europa League sort of thing as well. But I mean, as a season as a whole, they've had a pretty like blinding season, really, haven't they? And I think maybe if they didn't have the Europa League run, they might have done slightly overachieved more, if that makes sense, in the Prem, just because of the amount it took out of them in that run, and they had to like sacrifice some players for the league games to keep them fit for the Europa League. But I think sort of look how far they've come as a team. Sort of, and you've got like I said, I mentioned Jared Bowen, but also like Rice and even some of the players you never expected, like Dawson.
Yeah,
like have been really good. Like he obviously is a decent player, but I don't think anyone expected him to be that good this year. And I think they have obviously Moisey as well. We talked about him a lot, haven't we, over the last year and what he's done. So yeah, I'd put West Ham forward.
Good. Chris, overachiever of the season.
I've already mentioned him earlier when I was talking about Eddie Howe, but I'm going to say Joe Linton. Just the fact
Joseph Linton. Good.
So Joseph Linton, yeah, just for the fact that he's gone from literally hated striker from Newcastle, like Newcastle fans want him gone, to he's almost one of the first names on the team sheet alongside Guimaraes. They've formed a really good central midfield partnership, which it feels weird saying that because obviously Joe Linton got brought in as a striker, but obviously ever since Eddie Howe come in, he's moved him back into more central midfield, and he's looked brilliant in there. I mean, he was superb against Arsenal. As much as it pains me to say it, he was one of the him and Guimaraes absolutely ran the game against Arsenal. So I'd like to put Sir Joseph Linton forward for overachieving the season.
Good. And Ash, who is your nomination?
Well, I think you're going to like this one, Tang. I'm going to go for the mighty Seagulls, Brighton Hove Albion. I think they obviously had a good season, and they've done what maybe other teams have found difficult, as we've been talking about. Instead of sort of getting to Premier League and then getting worse, they've actually improved season on season, and that's despite having one of the lower wage budgets in the league. And they still don't really have a striker, really. I mean, Danny Welbeck, no offense, Danny Welbeck and Neil Maupay, but they're not really sort of out and out get you 20 goal season strikers, and yet they're still doing well. Not only they're doing well, they're playing well, and they're attractive to watch. And I think that sort of does a lot to say what Graham Potter's doing at Brighton. And yeah, another great finish. And obviously they finished, I think, for the first time in the top half. So I think that's quite a big achievement. I was actually at one point when I was thinking about this, after their first 3 games, I was considering saying Arsenal because they were that bad at the start.
They were awful.
That to be in the top 4, or even, I know they didn't get top 4, but to nearly get top 4, considering how poor they were, and how I personally think compared to the rest of the sort of big 6 sides, I think their squad is the weakest by a considerable distance, in my opinion. So for them to be, come 5th, most people say it's probably par, but I'd say maybe they have overachieved slightly. If they got top 4, I definitely would be putting Arsenal forward, but I think they just fell short in the end.
Yeah, a lot of people with like their predictions were putting Arsenal not even for European places, were they? It's putting like 8th, 9th, maybe 7th for Conference League, but it's an interesting one.
So who do we think is the overachiever of the season then, boys?
I mean, I'm tempted to go with you, Tang, and go Crystal Palace just to spite Ed, to be fair, especially on his birthday as well.
Oh yeah, happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Ed! By the way,
happy birthday, Ed.
Yeah, I think Palace is a very good shout, just because I think they did take a hammering from not just Ed. I think there's a lot. There was question marks about, well, Vieira for one, wasn't there? Only not the greatest record, and there's also question marks about some of the players they signed. Like big risky players, like 2 Championship centre backs, like Anderson and Gay, and they turned out to be like very solid. And then you have like sort of players like Mitchell got called up for England, didn't he? For the last set of games. And I think obviously, was it last season? I don't know how many. They ended up with like a lot of players being released when Hodgson left, wasn't there? And it was quite a big clear out, and they had to like completely rebuild. So I'd probably go for Palace just because it's such a massive rebuild, and they still done fairly well, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Palace is a good shout, and I completely agree with Jack that they, considering how many players they signed, I think a lot of us, maybe not quite as much as Ed, were worried about them potentially getting relegated this season. The only slight thing I would say is that I think Patrick Vieira is maybe people are going slightly too far with how good a manager he is, but I do think they definitely overachieved the season. So I think they well deserved the Overachiever award.
Congrats, Crystal Palace. Congrats, and Patrick Vieira. Okay, moment of the season, last award. I want to put forward when Ronaldo's first game back against, I think it was against Newcastle. I think it was. I thought that was a big moment. I think there was a lot of hype around it, obviously, and he obviously did score. Of course, he did. I think that was one of my moments of the season. Also, Brighton beating United 4-0 was a big moment. So let's start with Ash and then work our way back through Jack and Chris. Ash, what do you think?
Well, I went for one that happened to me, and then one that actually happened in the season. So my moment of the season in the Premier League was when I think it was Christian Eriksen's one of his first games back, and Brandon Williams tackled him, and then he was like on the floor, and Brandon Williams getting very angry, and they realised it was Christian Eriksen that just gave him a hug. It was a very nice moment, I thought, in the league. It shows, not all footballers are bastards. Some of them can be nice at times, and I thought that was just a nice moment. For me personally, my moment of the season was going back to the first game since crowds are back and going to Nevermore Park. So big up Guiseley.
Big up our friends at Guiseley.
The Guiseley, whatever they are, fan group that are following us. So big up to them. They actually got relegated in the end.
Oh no.
Hoping for a promotion back to the National League North next season. Up the Guiseley.
Good. Jack.
Yeah, I think everybody sort of I think I know where it's going to go anyway. But in the Eriksen thing was quite special, wasn't it? I think just for everything that happened and him actually getting a chance to actually come back and play again, which was nice. I mean, I don't want to say anything about to Chris about the old North London derby. That was quite a good game. The old Spurs.
But poor Tierney clown show that was.
Oh god.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like an individual game where like I think maybe
this season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I seem to remember. I don't know if it was recently, but when the De Bruyne against Wolves, was it like a hat trick or 4 goals he scored?
He scored 4, yeah.
Yeah, he was like tremendous that game. So maybe that moment, like individual moment, fully for him, but for me, the moment of the season is the Eriksen thing, just with everything that happened, and it was just a really nice moment for him, really.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm going to sort of follow trend, but I'm going to pick an individual Brentford game. I'm going to go when it was Chelsea 1, Brentford 4. I mean, Brentford that day was unbelievable. Like the bravery they showed against Chelsea against Stamford Bridge. I mean, all right, Chelsea have had their off-field issues and that, and I think that was their first game, obviously with the sanctions imposed to them. But the way Brentford played against Chelsea that day was unbelievable, just hitting them on the counter attack. I think Chelsea even went 1-0 up for that game. So for Brentford not only to come back like to equalise, but to then put 3 more goals past them. I mean, I remember Mbermo and Tony, they were absolutely handful that day. And again, Christian Eriksen was brilliant. And I think that was his first goal for Brentford as well. That goal at Stamford Bridge, which, you know, again, incredible. I mean, I think today is the day that a year ago today was when this cardiac arrest happened. It might have been yesterday, but I know it was over this weekend where his cardiac arrest actually happened. So to think from a year span that he's gone from, you know, nearly dying on a football pitch to, you know, being such a great player and being back playing for his country. And, you know, he might even get a big move in the summer as well. I mean, even if I'm a Champions League club, I'd be happy to take Christian Eriksen for one of my squads because he's playing as if nothing's ever happened to him. And honestly, it's just brilliant to see.
Great stuff. Let's give it to Christian Eriksen.
Especially at the top level as well. It's quite impressive, isn't it? I mean, to still be playing like that. And obviously, I know now he's sort of back to normal. He has to wear that device, doesn't he, now? Before, but I think to come back and play at that, because it's like the very, very best level, isn't it? He's still playing at, which is quite impressive, really. But it's weird because Brentford's release list had him on it, didn't it? But they also said they've offered him a new deal, so I don't really know what's happening. Whether he's like weighing up his options or whether
maybe
Brentford. I mean, he's probably hammering their salary, isn't he? Really, like in terms of what they can actually afford to pay. If they want to strengthen, it's probably on big money, isn't it? If they want to try and renew his contract, but I'll be very surprised if they don't want to keep. I think it's massively in their interest to keep hold of him. Which is whether, like Chris said, whether he's attracting a lot of interest. So whether he'll try and go to somebody else, I don't know.
Let's give it to Eriksen, right?
Yeah,
he deserves it. Christian Eriksen, moment of the season. You are just a great moment, a great Danish moment. Right. I don't know how this is going to work, considering I keep cutting out. So if I cut out in the middle of a question, just discuss and do things.
Can we just interpret the question if you cut out the key bit?
Yeah. I think that'd be funny.
What the question is for the
yeah.
Can you guess the question?
Can you guess the question? Right. Here's the end of season quiz. I might type these out actually so that people can see them. Okay, get a pen and paper. Here we go. The first question is. Let me just type it out. Here we go. Easy one. Who scored the first goal of the season?
Unfortunately, I know that one.
I know the team, but I'm not sure of the who scored. Oh no, I think that.
That might have given it away. My sort of comment might have given that away.
There's 10 questions, by the way. This is
going to go through them one by one, or are we doing the 10 questions and go through the answers?
Let's do the 10. Let's do the 10 questions.
Okay,
and then we'll do it at the end. Okay. Second question. How many points did Michael Carrick get from his 2 Premier League games in charge of Manchester United?
Ooh.
This is just a simple maths one. There's only so many answers. don't know if you can hear me typing, but I'm typing as quick as I can. Okay.
Very
Question
impressive. No
thank you.
typos.
Just doing it on the fly. Question 3. Which Premier League team received 101 yellow cards this season, which was a Premier League record?
That's quite surprising considering Wimbledon used to play in the Prem.
I know, right?
Right, to fair, that was more First Division, weren't it, Wimbledon,
Of
back
course,
in the
because
80s?
football started in 1992, of course.
But yellow cards rarely given then, Chris, either for like the most disgraceful tackle, which was to play on, or warning.
or Vinnie Jones grabbing someone's nuts.
Yeah, that wasn't even a warning back then.
That was a warning to the ref. That was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've just done 2 there whilst you were chatting, which was great. Okay, this is question number 4, I think. Which team were the first, or are the first, to go for a whole Premier League season without being behind at half time? Oh, what a stat that is, by the way.
I think I've seen this somewhere. Maybe I haven't.
Okay. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
You need a minute. Okay, good. Okay. This is question 5. Who were the only team this season not to concede against Manchester City?
I think Chris knows it.
Hint, it's a Premier League
Chris
club.
was quick there.
Yeah, it's a Premier League club. I didn't want it, I didn't want to, it's not a trick question.
I think I may have mentioned it on one of the earlier episodes of the pod.
Yeah.
So if you guys have enough time to go back.
Yeah, mid-pod. Everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Okay, so this is question number 6, I think. Which team finished in the top 4, but didn't beat any of the other teams in the top 4? Did not beat any of the teams that finished in the top 4.
What?
Oh, that's a strange one.
That's a strange one, isn't it? But it's a 1 in 4 chance.
Yeah, it's a strange one, but I think I got it. I've got it.
Good. I'll give you just a minute, so I need to type out the last question, which is a long one. Okay, this is question number 9. Oh wait, I've missed one.
Wait, what?
What?
Wait. No, what are we on?
No,
that was 6.
Yeah.
That was
Say we're not on 9, are we? Sure.
Yeah, I'd say I'm on 7.
Yeah.
Right there. Give me a second. Right, so this is number 7. Okay.
Yep.
We are all worried about Steve Bruce, but what was notable about his last game in charge for Newcastle? What was notable?
I feel like I should know this.
Something. It was a thing about his last game in charge.
You're worrying too much, Burns.
You're worrying.
I have.
Okay, are you ready, Ash?
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Okay, Jack, you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay, so this is number 8. Who had a 0 goal difference at the end of the season?
Shut the table up. Should have looked at that.
Hey, no Googling, Ash. No Googling.
No, I'm on a notepad, boys. There's no Googling.
Good.
And
play along at home, obviously, I should have said, but yeah, do play along. This is great. This is question number 9. This is the non-Premier League question. The second non-Premier League question, actually. How many hat-tricks did Mitrovic score this season? He scored about 1,000 goals in the Championship, but how many hat-tricks did he score?
he scored 40 odd goals, didn't he? 40 something.
This is just a guess. I don't know. I don't expect you guys to know the frequency of Alexander Mitrovic's hat-tricks.
How many hat-tricks will he score next season? 0.
Yeah.
0.
And the final question. Are you ready for the final question? This is my favourite question. And I think you'll realise this is the one that, Ash, I said before, this is the one that I made up.
I thought it was the Steve Bruce question.
No, it wasn't actually. So this is a bit okay. Gemma Owen recently joined the Love Island Villa. That's Michael Owen's daughter. He's a prolific striker in Premier League history for Manchester United, obviously, and has really bad commentary. But my favourite Michael Owen moment is the "Well done, he's 13" meme, where he just smashes ball past a 13-year-old. But which former Premier League stadium was that filmed at?
Oh.
You can see the meme in your head.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can see the meme, can't you? You can see the stadium. But what former Premier League stadium was it? So it's not a Premier League team at the minute.
I'm just guessing that one.
I'm not expecting you to know this.
Okay.
I just thought I'd get you a current affairs type question in.
Of something that happened about 20 years ago.
Love Island. There's a tangent, yeah. Okay. Would you like me to repeat any of the questions?
I'm all good.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good.
Chat's all good. Okay, so question number 1 was who scored the first Premier League goal of the season? Just shout it out, I guess.
Sergi Canos.
Yeah, I got Sergi
Canos
Canos.
is correct. Jack, did you get that?
No, I didn't. I put Timu Pukki just for the fact of it.
Oh no.
I wish that was the answer. I wish. So, okay, good. Mark your own homework, by the way. Here's number 2. How many points did Michael Carrick get from his 2 Premier League games in charge?
I thought he won them both.
I put 4. I know he won.
Chris is 100% record. It was a win and a draw. I think he beat Arsenal and drew against Chelsea.
All that. Come on.
And then he also beat Villarreal.
Well.
He beat Villarreal, I think, in the Champions League as well. So it was only Premier League games. So 4 points. Sorry, Barnes and Jack there. This is question number 3, and anyone at home, obviously, sorry. Which Premier League team received 101 yellow cards this season, a Premier League record? What do you guys think?
Leeds United.
Yeah, I've gone Dirty Leeds.
I went
Jack,
Everton.
you went Everton. It was Leeds. It was Dirty Leeds. But they never received a red card following 2 yellow cards. It was always a straight red. I don't know who got sent off for them, but all their red cards were
Luke Ayling, Dan James.
There you go. Oh my God, there you go.
There we go. Any more, Chris?
Any more, Chris?
Probably Junior Firpo.
Oh, here we go.
Did he even play? I don't even think he played.
I feel like Pascal Stroik would have got sent off. He's a very hot-headed player.
Maybe Rafinha as well. He's quite hot-headed.
I don't know. Didn't Stroik? Yeah. Was it this season with Elliot? You know that weird tackle.
Yeah, I think that was last year.
Was that this season?
No, it was this season. Yeah, because that was one of our episodes on the pod, weren't it?
I remember. Okay, here's number 4. Which team were the only team to go through the whole season not being behind at half time?
This was a tricky one.
Chris?
I went with Chelsea. What
do you boys think?
I went Liverpool.
It's Chelsea. I don't know how Chris is doing this.
Oh, bloody hell.
I don't know how he's doing this. It was Chelsea.
Who's going to win the quiz? Who knows?
Who knows? I think Chris is going to get this one because I've never seen anyone write anything quicker.
Yeah, he wrote this down.
Who were the only team not to concede against Man City this season?
It was Crystal Palace. They beat them 2-0 at the Etihad and 3-0 at Selhurst Park.
Fucking hell.
Jack Barnes, what did you put?
Bollocks
I
to
put
it.
Spurs.
And Jack, who did you put? Just for
Southampton.
Good. Okay. This one is the 1 in 4 chance. 3 in 4 chance Chris gets this wrong. Which team finished in the top 4 but didn't beat any of the top 4?
I put Liverpool.
What do you boys think, Chris?
I put Chelsea for this.
And Jack?
I put Liverpool as well.
It is Liverpool.
Yes, I finally got one right. Good.
Good.
Off the mark.
Good. Okay. This was number 7. We're all worried about Steve Bruce, but what was notable about his last game in charge?
It was his 1000th game as a manager.
What do you boy?
I put they won, but I think that was a bit much to ask.
Ash, what did you put?
I put he got hit by a cabbage, but I think that was a different game.
Do not remember that, but that would have been amazing.
That
Do you
was
not remember that someone threw a cabbage at him? Yeah,
Right.
it did happen. I think
Chris,
so anyway.
Chris,
I'm not
you
sure
were
it
right,
him.
by the way. Chris, you were right.
I think it hit him right in the face. I should laugh about it.
I want to give Ash half a point for comedic
Don't throw
humour.
stuff from the stands.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Ash, I'll
Don't
give
bring
you half a
cabbages
point.
to football.
Oh, thank you.
Give you half a point. Okay. Who had a 0 goal difference at the end of the season?
I went with Manchester United.
So did I.
I put
And
Wolves just for being the most boring team in the Premier League.
It was Manchester United.
Oh, fair
Although
enough.
Wolves is a great shout. Okay.
You're going to catch me here, Jack.
Yeah, there we go. Now,
What,
okay, these two questions.
I've got 1.5.
Good.
These two questions. I don't know if Chris gets both. I'll be absolutely astounded. But okay, how many hat tricks did Mitrovic score this season or last season?
I went with 5.
I went 3.
4. Jack Holyfield, it is 3.
Thank you. Good.
Good.
Good. Climbing. I'm coming for you, Chris.
Okay, this is the last question. The well done he's 13 meme. What stadium was this iconic British TV moment filmed?
Was it the Britannia?
I went with Stadium of Light, but I think Ginge might be right.
I think I
Ash?
put the Britannia as well. Oh, I put the
is the
Bet365.
Britannia.
Good.
It is the Britannia or the
Yes.
Bet365. Interesting. I caught Chris out with one finally. And do you know who the goalkeeper? Do you know who says "Well done"? He's 13.
Neville Southall.
Good. I'm not going to give Chris a bonus point for that. I don't think it matters. But Neville Southall is the person that did that. So that was fantastic. Count up your scores.
Didn't take long.
Count up your scores if you're playing at home.
That was a good quiz thing. I enjoyed that.
That was very good.
Thank you.
Enjoyable.
I did not make. I made one question at that whole quiz. I copyrighted the quiz from I think the Telegraph and somewhere else, but they don't need the money. Jack, how many points did you get?
4. Yeah. 4.
Ash
Oh, very embarrassing. 2.5.
and Chris.
I got 8.
8. So Ash, congratulations for finishing 3rd. Jack,
Thank you.
you got 2nd, and Chris, well done for the early Bath end of season quiz. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was lovely, and we've come to an end, I think, and that's it. Right. That's it.
What a finish.
What a finish.
Like a
End.
pro.
Great season. Thank you. Goodbye.
Yeah, wave goodbye. Yeah. What a season it's been, and we've had a lot of fun this season. We this podcast was just this time last year we were just saying we should do a podcast because we talk about football a lot, and we actually did it, and it's fun. We have a lot of fun doing it. I love cutting in and out halfway through for each segment. It's so fun. But yeah, I don't know. I think the season's obviously ended, but obviously football is happening. We didn't even touch on Nations League, did we? But who wants to talk about Nations League? But I'm sure maybe we won't be back as regularly, but maybe we'll do one every 2 or 3 weeks. Maybe, who knows? Depends on what football's happening. There's a big transfer or something. But if not, we'll definitely be back for the new season, which is soon, isn't it? Because it's like early for the World Cup and things like that. So we'll definitely be back for that. We'll definitely back for the new season, but we might be back here and there over the summer. Chris, any final remarks for the end of the season pod?
Well, if you congratulated me on this quiz win, I want to congratulate you because you are the playoff prediction king. As
thank you,
all
Chris.
3 playoffs correctly. I thought I'd bring that back to you. So
thank you.
I think you deserve a round of applause for that.
I'd clap myself. Thank you. I appreciate that. Jack, have you got anything to say just for the end?
Not really. No.
There you go. You don't say anything.
It was a good season. I don't really think we're going to get many. I think last season was like the premium level of transfers, wasn't it? With Ronaldo and Messi in one window. I'm not holding our hopes for anything amazing. Haaland maybe, which is already confirmed. But.
Yeah, good. And Ash, anything from you?
Just thanks for the listens, I guess, or thanks for watching. Thanks for people watching the pod. I'm amazed that actually some people do actually watch the pod, which is pretty cool. Also, just on the predictions, I want to shout out Josh Leafy for predicting Manchester United win the Premier League.
What? The
Someone had to mention it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought it might be on the pod today, but
He was
Anyway,
meant to,
meant
and he's probably asleep or something. Who knows?
But Chris, Ed, Jack, Owen, and you, Tang, all predicted a Manchester City Premier League win.
And what a guess that was.
But also predicted Liverpool to come fourth place. So, swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
That's not very good.
Win some, you lose some. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we predicted the winners. That's the main thing.
Yeah, details, Ash, details.
Details, that's what matters.
Yeah.
Semantics. Anyway,
luckily, the relegation predictions I don't have to hand. Luckily, so
we'll
prefer
dig
not
them up. Maybe,
we won't talk about those.
I would love to see the final score of all the predictions that we've made.
Yeah,
I mean, I must be very close to the bottom. I must be teetering on the edge of relegation with mine, but I don't know anyone else that has been as bad as me.
Maybe we'll do we'll do a review of all our predictions and just
a tally.
Maybe we'll do a tally or something in a few weeks' time. But anyway, thank you very much for everyone who's watched and subscribed this season. It's been a lot of fun. Please do pass the pod on still. We'll be back. We'll try and keep up to date on socials and stuff. But we'll be back stronger, to steal another quote from another podcast. But for now, for the 2021 to the 2022 season, it's waving goodbye from myself, Chris, Jack, and Ash, and the rest of the Early Bath boys. We'll see you very soon. Up the boys, up the bath.